Good morning. This is Chloe Papadakis, and this is today's Quiet Echo. I want to take you into a room you have probably sat in yourself. It is the room behind our community hall, on a Thursday evening, where we hold the summer festival planning meeting. The heating system makes its small noises in the corner. There are 12 of us at the long table, a pitcher of water in the middle, a stack of paper agendas going around the way they always do. It is an ordinary meeting. And then, for about 9 seconds, it is not. Let me tell you who is speaking so you can follow where I sit. I am Cedar Valley's cultural events planner. For several years now, I have sat at the back of rooms like this one. The barn dances, the harvest fair, the awards nights, taking my notes on the gatherings the town has and the ones it has quietly stopped having. The back of the room is a good place to see from. You notice who is missing before anyone else does. This Thursday, the first item on the agenda was nominations for chair. You need to understand who the chair has been. Her name is Helen. Helen kept the vendor binder for 14 years. She wore her reading glasses on a chain around her neck, and she kept all her notes in pencil, because pencil can be corrected and ink cannot. In October, Helen stepped down. She is well. She is simply finished. 14 years is a long time to carry a town's summer on your own kitchen table. So the agenda called for nominations, and the room went quiet. It was not an awkward quiet. It was a practical one. Everyone looked down at the agenda. Someone finally said, "We'll just figure it out later." And the meeting moved on to the next item, which was the parking plan, which everyone had an opinion about. I sat in the back and watched the most important moment of the evening go by in those 9 seconds. Helen's binder is still here in the hall. It is in a cardboard box by the side door, waiting for whoever picks it up next. I went and looked at it after the meeting. It has tabs, vendors, parking, permits, the contact at the fire department, the contact at the school for the loaner risers, and at the very back on a single sheet of paper, in Helen's careful pencil, it says, "The pie lady arrives at 6. The pie lady arrives at 6. 14 years of knowing this. And now Helen will not be here to explain it to anyone. I want to be careful, because this is not only a Cedar Valley story. Last November, the United States Census Bureau and Amory Corps published something called the Civic Engagement and Volunteering Supplement. The number it produced is 28.3%. It is the share of Americans who formally volunteered through an organization in the survey year. The good news is the number had climbed back up from the low it hit during the pandemic. The harder news is it is still short of where it used to be, by 1 7/10 of a point, and you can see it in what is not happening. In Williamsville, New York, the Glen Park Art Festival, in its 16th year, has been canceled. This summer there will be no festival. In British Columbia, 2 parades, each one run for generations, were canceled this spring. The Buccaneer Days Parade and the Oak Bay Tea Party Parade. The boards all reached for the same plain words: a shortage of volunteers, a shortage of someone willing to chair. Back in our meeting, there was a young mother on the committee. Her daughter was asleep in a stroller beside her chair, and she asked the question I had been waiting all evening for somebody to ask. She said, "Can't we just hire someone to chair?" I wanted to say yes. I really did. I wanted there to be a way to pay for what Helen did, because then the problem would be a money problem, and money problems can be solved. But the honest answer is no. And the reason is the part of this nobody likes to say out loud. The chair is not a job description. The chair is the person who calls the pie lady in March. Who knows her name? Who knows her husband had heart surgery last fall? Who notices at the next meeting when the pie lady is not there, and picks up the phone to ask if she is all right? A paid chair is a contractor. A real chair is a neighbor. Those are not the same job. You cannot hire someone into 14 years of relationships. Here is what I have come to believe, sitting at the back of these rooms. The events a town counts on are not held up by the buildings, or the budgets, or even the traditions. They are held up, year after year, by one person who has been sitting in the chair. And when she finally steps down, the event keeps going for a year, maybe 2, on what is left of her relationships. And then, one quiet Thursday, it stops. Some towns get the parade back after a pause. Some towns never do. There is no rule about it. There is only whether someone is willing. I keep thinking about the cardboard box by the side door. And I keep thinking about my own daughter, who in 2 more years will be old enough to come to the summer festival. And how the festival she comes to depends on someone in our room on a Thursday night. The agenda has moved on, but there is still time. The chair seat at the back of the room is empty tonight. And I think someone listening already knows whose seat it is. So I will say the only thing worth saying. Sit down. This is Chloe Papadakis, your host for today's Quiet Echo. Thanks for listening. Cedar Valley News has a Facebook group. If you have comments and want to join the conversation, you are welcome. Tell us about a chair you have sat in for your town, or one you wish you had taken. I will put the link in the show notes. Quiet Echo is part of the fictional Cedar Valley News series, written by Evan Swenson, publisher, and Claude Marshall, a developmental editor. While the people and town of Cedar Valley are fictional, the U.S. Census Bureau and AmeriCorps 2023 Civic Engagement and Volunteering Supplement, the cancellation of the Glen Park Art Festival in Williamsville, New York, and the cancellations of the Buccaneer Days and Oak Bay Tea Party parades described in this podcast are real.
You've been listening to the Cedar Valley News Podcast, where small-town voices meet the headlines shaping our world. From faith and family to front porches and fields. We'll be back with more stories connecting real lives to real events. Until next time, keep your porch light on, your faith strong, and your heart open. This is Cedar Valley News.